What's going on, folks? Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time zone you are in. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm Bill Corpus Crispy Murphy, and welcome to the Thanksgiving edition of Thursday Night Gridiron on the Sports Insanity Network. I am joined, as always, by John Haraska, Danny Boy Reg, and taking time to come out of his cave after yelling at children on bicycles, Mike the Pun Master Rifkin.
Yeah, you're lucky I came back before I go into a food coma.
Gentlemen, good evening. And happy Thanksgiving, guys.
And happy
Thank
Thanksgiving
you.
to everyone out there. We hope that you enjoyed the Thanksgiving Day parade. It's my favorite parade. Call me biased, call us biased. We have the best parade in town. So we hope you
My
enjoyed
second favorite parade.
it.
You know what number one is.
The Rifkin Day Parade.
No, tell by the flag behind me, boys.
Oh
St.
my
Patrick's
God.
Day.
Yeah.
But in any case, happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you're spending time with your families already, and hopefully the cooking has started. So
Yes.
so that we could um
Cheers to the pilgrims.
cheers to the pilgrims too, yeah. And um man, eat plenty of turkey. I keep telling people every Thanksgiving, I eat turkey sometimes outside of Thanksgiving.
The sides that everybody's there for.
Eat plenty of turkey, eat plenty of the stuffing or dressing. Us Southerners call dressing. I call it stuffing. Um, Eat plenty of that. All the other sides and desserts and everything. It's a fantastic day. Just stuff your mouth and everything, and enjoy some of the football games. I am so sorry for the 4 o'clock window.
That's what everyone should be eating
Yes.
during that four
I
o'clock
am
game.
terribly sorry for Billy Boy, for Johnny, all those people who have to endure such a horrendous game I've ever seen in my life.
I feel sorry for me having to sit through that.
Anyway, yeah, we got all three of these games to talk about, and we got a great show. We got dancers, we got fireworks. We don't have any of that, do we?
Well, I can make one. Yeah.
God, I told you to put all that in the budget.
The best I can do is virtual add-ons.
Okay, we
The
could
best
do
I
that.
can do is tell you to subscribe to www.onlyfans.com/Nathan
Nate
Moses
Moser.
if you want real fireworks.
Does this
We
work
love you, Nate Moser. If you're watching,
on
we love
Zoom?
you,
Probably
Nate.
not.
What was that?
Does this work on Zoom? The hearts. I don't know if you noticed if anyone has iPhone, if you do this, it does the hearts. All the hearts come out. So
So, gentlemen, are we ready to have some fun tonight?
yeah.
Let's do it.
We're gonna have some good, not wholesome fun.
Yeah.
Our
It will
first,
not be PG. So
yeah. So if you have kids watching this, maybe they should be watching this. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the early game: the Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions.
Why is it every year the Lions have a divisional game on Thanksgiving?
I
Don't know. Go
It's
talk to
either
the
the
NFL.
Bears or the Packers coming in.
just smack the shit out of Roger Goodell and let someone else take the slot.
mean, 1 year they had like the Texans one
They've
year?
had the Texans once.
Yeah.
I know Peyton Manning went there once. I want to say it was '05 or '06, and he just
Yeah.
lit them up like a Christmas tree on
The,
Thanksgiving.
the Cowboys obviously have divisional matchup this time
Yeah.
around. But yeah, it seems like they always choose the divisional matchups, except for that one time they played Buffalo for the Cowboys. But yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
So
Uh,
yeah, Caleb Williams' season so far: 2,356 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions.
Yeah.
So what do we all think on Mr. Williams? Let's start with John.
Uh honestly, he's okay. Like he has the potential to be a stud. I will say that. and I'll get to that in a minute, but over the past 3 games, he's only been averaging about 5 yards per passing attempt versus about 6 1/3 on the season, and 6 sacks a game over the previous 3 versus 4 over the whole season. Yes, he has been sacked 18 times without throwing a touchdown pass, and in the last 2 weeks, the Bears' offense hasn't found the end zone once. He, from what I've been picking up, holds on to the ball too long, doesn't really get to use his creative scrambling as often as he'd like. But I feel like with a stronger offensive coordinator, which the Bears just picked up in Thomas Brown, hopefully for Chicago fans, and maybe a new head coach. I don't know. It depends on how the rest of the Bears season goes. Like I said, he could be a stud in the NFL because in college, let's keep this in mind, fellas. He has averaged 9.2 yards per pass attempt, a 67% completion rate, and 2.5 touchdowns per game in college. And he was the Heisman Trophy winner in his sophomore year in 2022. So
Yes, it was.
looks like he's been struggling, but there's, even though the Bears are probably missing the playoffs, time to turn things around and at least salvage something respectable.
Yes. Is there time to do it though? We're gonna go with Mr. Rifkin. What do you think?
Okay, I like Caleb Williams. I want to like him. He does the one thing that really kind of agitates me, though. And you brought it up. It's not even holding the ball long. It's when he keeps dropping back and trying to make something out of nothing, and he'll lose 12 to 15 yards on a sack, putting you in a position of second or third and forever. And it's just like you're putting your team in a position where they have to punt the football now. I think there's upside. I agree with you. I think Thomas Brown's done a good job through a couple of games. We'll get into, I know we're going to get into the coach, but I think there's a perfect solution for the Bears coaching spot. Get into that in a second. But listen, they gave him the weapons. He's got DJ Moore. He's got Keenan Allen. He's got Roma Dunzier and Cole Kmet. And they signed DeAndre Swift. This team has the weapons. The worst thing to happen to Caleb Williams, though, is how well Jaden Daniels has played this year.
Oh, sure.
Because
Yes,
everyone in
sure.
Chicago is going, you couldn't be that guy.
Yeah, that's a shame because it's like, well, what do you expect? It's like you don't know what Jaden Daniels is gonna look like. You don't even know what Caleb Williams is gonna look like.
Yeah,
I have
honestly,
no idea what no one knew what Tom Brady was gonna look like.
Well, we could thank your Jets for that if they didn't
I
kill Drew
know. I'm
Bledsoe.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Wait, can we make fun of the Jets tonight?
I think everyone's open for business.
why not?
You know what? We got enough to suffer with.
We're going to make fun of a
John,
lot
we got
of
to take our suffering out on someone else.
Yeah, God. But
Yeah,
you know what? With Caleb, this is an interesting fucking stat. Excuse my language. I know we're trying to make it a family show, but all
Since when?
Is it true? Caleb Williams set a record 165 pass attempts without a touchdown or interception.
Really?
I didn't know that was a record, but all right.
What? So, while yes, he's not necessarily turning over the ball. John, I'll get you in a second. I apologize. He's also not throwing touchdowns. And of course, that was broken because of his pass to DJ Moore. But still, it's been that type of season for him where he's not necessarily doing the wrong things all the time. And look, he's made plenty of mistakes. What we see that, but he's also not elevating this offense. And uh, I have to say, a lot of it's on the coach because
Mhm.
if the team's not ready to go, then what do you expect?
Yeah,
What do you expect?
I don't expect much.
So is Caleb Will? I'm sorry, I think Caleb Williams should not have been the number one pick.
Hmm,
Yeah, it's a
Time will
little,
tell.
little
who knows?
harsh.
Maybe if the Commanders had gotten him and the Bears, Jalen Daniels, NFC or excuse me, AFC or what?
NFC.
Thank you.
You had it right.
My brain was fucking cross-wiring me left, right, and center all day today.
Oh, poor thing.
Let me rephrase that properly. The NFC North could have looked much different, and someone else could be in the basement of the NFC East.
I mean that could very well be the Commanders. That could very well still be the Bears.
Bill, let
Could
me
still
ask you
be.
this.
Okay, shoot.
Because you just said they shouldn't have been the number one pick. Well, if they took Jane Daniels and Caleb Williams was balling out in Washington,
Oh,
right,
then that would be a totally different situation
we're in the
right then
same
and there.
predicament. So you get the guy you really like, or they throw a ring into the fire, whatever it is, and they just stick it out with Justin Fields, which they chose not to do. Again, that's a whole nother conversation. But I think again we're gonna get into it, but I think this stems from the dude on the sideline.
I gotta agree with you, man. It's a big portion of the blame for this Chicago Bears season goes to head coach Matt Eberflus. I pray I didn't butcher that.
Eberflus,
Oh,
you're good.
Eberflus.
You're right there. Well, it doesn't matter. He's gonna get fired.
Oh,
Eber.
he's
You know
screwed.
what? That's a perfect transition into the next one. Is he on the hot seat this year?
He
He
should become an Eber
absolutely.
driver.
He should have been on the hot seat last year. The
He should have been.
team was not very good.
Everybody was saying that when they drafted Caleb Williams and when the Bears had those off-season moves,
Yeah.
when they had those awesome off-season moves, people going like, "Oh, Eberflus is so safe right now. He is safe." But then this season, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You
no.
do all this and look at the result you get on the field. I'm sorry. If I'm the owner, Matt, we wish you the best in your future endeavors. Get pack your shit up and leave. Oh, and by the way, Alabama is out of the top is only in top 13, the top 25. So this is a good night for America.
That is a massive fall for Alabama.
This is
Well,
a good night for America.
I mean, they did lose to Oklahoma, so
Hey, what do I always say? When Alabama loses, America wins.
take that, Nick Saban. You
But
Oh,
but this is only the top 25. I'll keep you posted when we get the playoff thing. But anyway, getting back to this, then I'm sorry, I would have fired him and said, you know what? I wish you the best.
yeah, I think he's fired anyway.
there's no coming back from this.
No,
They're in disarray. They're a mess. Even if they finish somewhat with a somewhat decent record, I think it's time to get a new voice, a fresh opinion on how to elevate this franchise.
Agreed.
Yeah, I would say the offense needs help yesterday, and the
Yesterday, two
Bears
weeks
only
ago.
have the record that they do and the 4 wins that they have accumulated because of their defense, which isn't great. But if they were able to salvage that many wins, good for them. So I would say, like, even with Brown's limited play calling experience at Carolina last year, uh, with the way Caleb Williams was in college, Brown could turn this dude around. And I think the likely scenario is that he salvages a respectable season by turning Williams around, or Eberflus, is burnt toast.
Oh, he's burned to a crisp.
He really should have been fired after the loss to the Commanders on the Hail Mary. That should have been the end of the line.
But that would have caused an overreaction. But I'm totally with you. Okay,
No, but if you look back at that play, they weren't set.
exactly.
You've
No
got
one was
by the way, the play before you let Terry McLaurin get out of bounds and the Commanders didn't have a timeout. Oh my god!
Like I mean, it was just everyone keeps blaming that guy that was taunting the fans.
Tyreek Stevenson.
Yeah,
Yes.
they kept blaming, but in reality, why is it that Jaden Daniels even had the chance to do it? Like,
Could you let Terry
like,
McLaurin go out of bounds?
the defense didn't do its job to make sure that
Yep.
there was no chance at it. Like you saw Dallas. Dallas made sure there was no chance for Jaden Daniels to get that Hail Mary, even though it was fairly close. I mean, God knows, if a tip going the other way, forget it.
Yeah, but they also gave up the touchdown to McLaurin. They don't deserve credit either.
By the way, how horrible was that? How do you let Jane Daniels throw 86 yards for a game time touchdown? You're lucky that the Commander special team was terrible.
Oh.
We'll get to the Cowboys in a second. But yeah,
Oh, we'll get to them. Don't
Who
worry.
respects the Bears?
But yeah. Right now, Eberflus is 14-31, and in his third season, I think he's gone.
And
he is Gone gone.
Here's the other thing. Remember why they were able to draft Caleb Williams? Because they traded the first overall pick last year to the Panthers so they could get Bryce Young. So they wound up lucking into Caleb Williams. It wasn't because they were so bad.
Yeah.
But I think there's only one person. But I think John's right. It has to be an offensive mind that goes there. So I would reunite Caleb Williams with his old college coach, Lincoln Riley.
Solid choice.
Yeah. I mean, it ain't like USC's doing anything this year, although we hope they beat Notre Dame.
Hey, watch it, buddy. Watch it.
Would you want to take him out of a college system, though, where he's more comfortable? I mean, not saying he can't succeed in the NFL. Of course he can, but it's like
we don't know what he is in the NFL. I'd give him every opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, certainly if he's interested.
The question would be what else is out there from an offensive standpoint?
Well, you have Cliff Kingsbury, who's done a terrific job in Washington.
Right.
That is a good point.
And by the way, he was a play caller for Caleb Williams for 1 year.
So I would say either Cliff Kingsbury or maybe Lincoln Riley.
So like Ben Johnson, the Detroit offensive coordinator, I don't think he'd leave Detroit for that situation.
So, I think that's a fair assessment.
So I mean,
okay. Now let's move to talking about a good team. We might as well soak up talking about the good team now because pretty soon we're going to be talking about two shitty teams. So let's enjoy.
We are.
Let's enjoy this moment, shall we? Let's just enjoy this.
Let's get a cigar ready.
Fries in East Rutherford.
But before we get to that shit show, let's talk about something good. Let's put the ball to the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
Are they the best team in football right now?
Yes.
Absolutely. Oh, I agree.
Well, after Kansas City nearly blew it against Carolina, and they don't give me this BS. All they had a tough one against Buffalo. They were tired. No. You should have seen the excuses people were making for Kansas City. The team stinks. You had a close one against Denver. You lose badly against the Buffalo Bills, and that was a bad loss. And then now you barely squeak by against Carolina. So no, you're not the best team in the NFL.
Freaking Carolina. No.
You're not the best team in the NFL.
No, you're not. You are not the best. You just squeaked by it. You know what? I'm going to say this. If I don't say it, someone else won't. The Kansas City Chiefs are the most overrated team in the NFL.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
So, can I get an amen?
Uh,
Amen.
Amen. And the Detroit Lions have proven to us from time and time again that, no matter who they face, they'll kick your ass. So, and look, this game against the Colts wasn't their best game for sure. Um, but they still found ways to win. How about the Lions in the second half? I don't know what it is. I don't know what they take in, what drugs they're on, what they're smoking, but man, the second half they go on fire. The defense all of a sudden comes and they're lights out. The Jared Goff, for whatever reason, throws a million touchdowns, and they just come alive. The in-game adjustments by Dan Campbell and his staff is absolutely terrific.
I
Oh, for
agree.
sure. Like the only loss they had this season, keep in mind, was to the second place NFC South team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
which I believe was week 2, if I'm
Yeah, it
not
was yeah.
mistaken.
Yes.
Yes,
Now,
since then the Bucks have fallen to under 500, but the Bucks, I think, started out pretty strong. So to
yeah,
lose them early in the season, not the worst thing in the world. God's
Yeah,
honest truth. I think the Lions were 4-1 at home and 6-0 on the road with a plus 177 point differential, which is the best in the league, by the way. They are far and away the best team with only two credible threats, let's say.
ooh,
now I want to, you know what? Let's go into that. Who is their biggest threat? We're going to start with you, Johnny.
All right, so I would say it depends on whether you look at the just their division or the conference as a whole. Because if we're looking at just the division, we're talking the Minnesota Vikings. They're
Okay.
only one game behind Detroit. And the matchup they had this season so far, 31-29, went to Detroit. They'll play
that
each
was
other
a great
later this
game.
season. I think in the last week, correct me if I'm wrong. But if we're talking about the whole conference, everyone in the NFC, I would say it's you guys are going to kill me for this, the Philadelphia Eagles. But hear me out. On offense, they've got studs for days. AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goddard. And of course, you can't forget the Hurts and Barkley tandem. I swear, these birds have the best rushing attack in football today. And it pains me to say that as a Giants fan, but it's true. As far as defense goes, the Eagles got Jalen Carter, who's making noise at defensive tackle, Zach Bowen and N'Kobe Dean, who are making noise as linebackers, and pass killers, properly known as cornerbacks, Mitchell, Slay, and DeJean, who are just absolutely tearing it up.
But you know what? I'm going to agree with you because if I'm going, I agree with you the division and I agree with you on the conference thing. I think the Vikings are going to be a big threat to them in the division. In the conference, I agree with you too. I think, and I hate to say it too, God shoot me dead, is the Philadelphia Eagles. And you know what? Because Reggie, we've been making fun of the Eagles since week one.
They've had some bad games too where they were close and nearly lost it. Yeah, so I think the Eagles in terms of like the conference for sure, um, obviously look for them to try to snatch that one seed if they ever have the opportunity to do so. Um, but honestly, if I'm the Lions, if you just win the division, man, you get that home game at the very least a home game in the playoffs. Strive for that. And then, do all the talking in the playoffs. You
I
know,
agree.
so
I'm with you there.
yeah, so division definitely. Look for you guys talking about the Vikings, which is fine. That's a great pick. Look for the Green Bay Packers too, man.
Oh, I
Because
agree. They are. I've
all
said
of
it
a
on
sudden,
SIP.
all of a
They are an
sudden,
they are a very underrated team.
offense is clicking. The defense had a tremendous day against the San Francisco 49ers, who were lifeless. They could not even move the ball if they even tried. They couldn't even move a freaking squeaking mouse if they tried. You know, like it
The
was
Cats
bad.
would be all over that.
But yeah, no. Look for the Green Bay Packers because all of a sudden they become a team to watch at the very least. At 8-3. Um, but no, I mean the Detroit Lions, man, they're on something huge. Rifkin.
It's interesting because I'm with you on Philly, but I'm going to make the case for another team.
Okay.
And I don't even know if this team's going to make the playoffs.
Okay.
But the Los Angeles Rams
Okay.
Really? That's
are,
random.
are a massive threat. Look, they had a great playoff game last year. The Rams are healthy now with Cobb and Nakua. Kyron Williams, all this dude does is score touchdowns. Stafford and this young Ram defense is really impressive. That being said, Saquon Barkley should be your NFL MVP. Giants fans rejoice.
Oh, listen, if he's MVP, he's MVP. But you know what I think is the biggest AFC threat to these guys? Agree or disagree with me? Buffalo.
Nope,
Hands
disagree.
down.
What was that, John?
I said hands down. The way they've been playing this year. Woo-hoo.
All right, Mike.
Listen, I'm leaning towards the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay, not a
Yeah,
bad
they don't
choice.
have big
I'll raise you a Pittsburgh Steelers too.
Oh, it's getting
Everyone's all over the
interesting
map.
here.
The ultimate threat's probably Buffalo when it's all said and done.
Yes.
I don't want to face the Steelers. I don't want to face them, man.
Come on, Detroit, Buffalo. This is the Super Bowl America wants.
The blue collar bowl, damn it. Give me what I want.
I think the NFL is training us to hate the Chiefs right now.
If it's a blue collar Super Bowl, can Weird Al still do the halftime show?
Absolutely.
Why not?
You want a blue collar guy? That's Weird Al.
Hey, you know what? I think it's like that classic quote from The Dark Knight regarding the Chiefs. You either die a hero or guess what? You live long enough to see yourself become the villain, and the Chiefs have beyond done that.
But can we just take a second to say we're talking about the Detroit Lions at a potential Super Bowl?
Can you believe that, folks?
Like,
I mean,
this is a team that, let's be honest, over the last decade plus has been a straight up laughing stock.
I mean, when I remember when I lived there, um, and I always tell these fans are so passionate about the Lions, and God bless them. They are sort of like me right now with the Jets. They're they're not quite sure where it's going. Um, and there's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of, well, it'll never happen for us. This team's always kicking our butts, and we'll always root for the mediocrity at the very best, the very most mediocrity. Will never be very good. So, yeah, for the longest time, man, they were such a beleaguered fan base, and that obviously belongs in New York nowadays. But, you know,
Both
but-
franchises.
yeah, but man, look, the Lions, they're giving fans and, the team a reason to believe, a city to believe, and it's a really good program that Dan Campbell's really, and I want to really emphasize that
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people didn't believe in Dan Campbell in his first year. They were an 0 for the first, what, 6 games or so?
Yeah.
And, there was a lot of emotion. There was a lot of skeptics. And, since they went on that massive run at the end of the 22 season and then massive rise to what they are now, being the best run franchise. It's incredible, dude. It really is incredible.
Is he coach of the year,
Oh,
or where do you think he's in the rankings?
in my opinion, he should be coach of the year.
He should have been, in my opinion, he should have been coach of the year
Absolutely,
last year.
absolutely top five, without a doubt.
But watch someone like a Kevin O'Connell or you know
Hey,
or
look,
Mike Tomlin.
if you can take a team to the playoffs 2 straight years and enter your first Super Bowl, which, by the way, the Lions, following their fourth pre-merger NFL championship in 57, did not win another playoff game until 91. Following that, did not win another until 2023, and are the only franchise operational for the entire Super Bowl era never to appear in the Super Bowl. I say that changes this year. And as a Giants fan who is pissed off with the
Wait a
Giants
second.
and knows they won't be making the Super Bowl this year, gosh darn it, give me Lions Bills.
Well, technically, I know they've been around longer, but the Texans have never played the Super Bowl, neither of the Jaguars.
Right, but this is the only franchise that's been in operation
No,
for
I know.
the
I,
Super Bowl.
I just wanted to make a note for the listeners out there that may not have
The
heard that
Jaguars
part.
and Texans are younger, but I will agree you are correct.
Take that, Jacksonville.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's if you asked me a couple weeks ago before Washington went on their slide, I would have said Dan Quinn. But I think right now it's going to be Dan Campbell. It should be Dan Campbell. And you know what? He should have been coach of the year last year.
Remind me who won that year?
Kevin Stefanski. Am I right, Mike?
Yes, Stefanski. I believe it was Stefanski. I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure you were right.
Cleveland. We wish we were Detroit. We really wish we were Detroit.
Don't worry, Cleveland. Deshaun Watson knows where all the great massage parlors are at.
Oh,
Burn.
Like I said,
Yeah,
not a PG show.
Stefanski.
what was that, John?
I said, like I said, not a PG show. At best, PG-13 right now.
Tell your kids to go to bed.
Uh,
But anyway, or go put them in the other room, put on a Pixar movie or something. But anyway, but no, I think Dan Ryan. You're Dan Ryan.
Dan should
Dan
win Coach
Campbell.
of the Year.
I mean, I would love to. I would
I
love
knew
to.
Dan was coaching.
Dan Campbell was the Dan Campbell should be coaching. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. But okay, guys. I'm sorry, we gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about it.
as a Giants
Okay,
fan,
let us
pains
pray
me.
in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Good Lord, please protect us while we talk about this game. We ask this in your name, and God's people say, Amen. But anyway,
Give me some Lord.
so what's everyone doing for Thanksgiving? We're just delaying the inevitable here, folks.
Hopefully we are eating dinner and are able to catch at least a little bit of Giants Cowboys. I say this as a biased Giants fan. I am really not looking forward to this game, but I want the Giants to just finally get redemption on these damn Cowboys.
Yeah,
I agree. But we got to talk about it. The snooze fest, the game that hopefully people will either be eating or they will be laying on a couch in their turkey comas. The 4:30 game,
Halfway into a turkey coma drinking a beer.
or vodka, whatever you prefer. Ladies and gentlemen, we proudly present the 4:30 shit show of the week, of the day. The New York Football Giants and the Dallas Cowboys.
Now, luckily,
Yay!
luckily, I will be working,
Oh, good for you.
so I don't have to necessarily keep watching it. Even though, let's be honest, it's a news station. We're gonna have sports. Sports is always on somewhere.
It's true.
Um, man, I don't know, man. Look, Johnny, I know you
The
really,
NFL hates us.
I
They
know
hate
I
us.
know you and Bill want the Giants to kick ass. This is probably the team to do it. Like,
Please,
if you're
we can
gonna stick
tank.
it up to the Cowboys, this is the team to do it. Are they going to do it? No, because I watched them beat the Commanders in a very awful fashion, and it was awful to watch. But
As did I.
man, like this is the team to do it. Like the defense is not that good. The offense is meh. I guess it's starting to come together. I guess Cooper Rush is starting to settle in a little bit. Um, so this is the team to do it if you really want to stick it up. The problem is who's the quarterback that's gonna give them that oomph. It ain't gonna be Mr. Jersey Juice. No,
Okay,
he'll be juicing something else.
he's
But
been he's been juiced. Um,
oh God.
He is
but
gassed.
anyway, we got to talk about the Daniel Jones situation. You know what? I'm just going to admit this now. Daniel Jones was not the problem. Okay, he was part of the problem.
No, it's it's the top. The problem is the Giants committed to the wrong person. And it just goes back to many of our conversations. The Giants made the wrong commitment to the wrong person.
No, I
It,
agree.
of course, it's not all Daniel Jones's fault, but we knew he wasn't that good. And look, was he the most talented quarterback on the team? Yeah, sure, why not? Did releasing him fracture the locker room? Well, according to Malik Neighbors, it certainly did because he's calling this team soft. Which, by the way, a lot of people giving him criticism. I have absolutely no criticism.
I have no
Like
criticism of
Neighbors
him
saying,
either.
I think that good. Someone has to say it because these veterans that are on the team that are supposed to be leaders in the locker room, they ain't gonna say it.
You know what it is, and I'm going to say
Malik Neighbors
this.
is gonna be here for at least another what 2 3 years.
I'm going to say this, guys. When people blame Daniel Jones, and because you know what, and like, I'm not saying Daniel Jones is blameless. Like, if I were to say that, Mike would probably fire me, and you know what? He'd be 100% right to do so. But anyway, I am sick and tired of the Daniel Jones haters, and here's why. Because they all go, oh, well, Daniel Jones was a big problem. If we get rid of him, everything is going to be wonderful. You know what? If anybody was watching the same game I was watching on Sunday, gentlemen, he's part of the problem.
He's not the whole problem, though.
And you know what? All you Daniel Jones haters, you know what? Fine, it's Thanksgiving. I'm gonna say you all need to shut the fuck up right now.
A profanity on Thanksgiving? The
And
fuck is wrong with you?
we've risen to rated R. So it's like
We've risen to
here we
rated R.
go.
He's dropped multiple F bombs. Fuck PG-13 at this point.
We're,
Oh God.
we're just gonna.
Shout out the rated R superstar.
Edge. Excuse me, Adam
TV
Copeland.
or is this going to be on TVs, right? Because of YouTube, TVMA, is that what they say? TVMA.
Anyway, but
Bungle.
anyway, no. But what I'm saying is, these people who thought that, because you know what, these morons, all you Daniel Jones haters, you have no one to blame anymore.
Yeah.
You have no one to blame anymore. You guys sat here and blamed Daniel Jones till the cows came home.
Yeah.
And you know what? You have no one to blame anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry.
A lot
God
of
When
bless.
he did come home.
yeah.
Oh, they're finally home? The cows are finally home.
On this
Seriously,
network,
when the cows came home, there were plenty of things still wrong.
uh, uh,
God, and that's
People
the
are laying
problem.
on things. What can I say?
it is the problem. It is the problem. A lot of the blame that we spoke on this network, a lot of it had nothing to do with Daniel Jones playing badly because it's a redundant thing to say. We
Right.
we know he's bad. It's the commitment to Jones and the flat out not pivoting to a different either different style of play or completely new philosophy with new players and the Giants are getting what they deserve. And I'm glad to see that because and look, obviously I don't I know what it feels like to have a team that sucks. So I don't wish it on the fans, but I
I
wish it on the
agree.
team that continues to make the worst decisions possible. It's insane. Rifkin.
I think it's fair that coming into the season, we can make the case where the Giants are bottom of the league in terms of talent.
Oh,
And
I
that has
agree.
been a problem for the last 2, 3, 4 years, however long you want to go. The worst thing to happen to the New York Giants was they won 11 games 2 years ago and they went to the playoffs.
Yes, that's
That was
true.
the absolute worst thing because that put them in a position to where they had to either pay Daniel Jones or they had to pay Saquon. They chose Jones and they swung and whiffed on that. Now, to Bill's point, is it all Daniel Jones' fault? No. He's not working with anything. There's no talent around him. And here's the real area where the Giants screwed up
Let's hear it.
because everyone and their mother knew that Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito weren't the answer. You had to bring in real competition for Daniel Jones. Because listen, Jones hasn't been this irrelevant since Mr. Jones by the Counting Crows came out. Like that's how irrelevant Daniel Jones became.
He's no longer keeping up with the Joneses, is he?
And the fact that you had to put him on waivers and subsequently cut him just based on the fact of you knew you didn't want to pay him anymore and you didn't want him to get hurt. So you won't save money that way. We, from a fan perspective, totally get it. Is it stupid from, well, you paid him and you reap what you sow? I think the more interesting question becomes what are you going to do with Dable and Shane? Because John Mara, who's not
We'll
as
get to
cool as
them in a
Paul
second.
Mara, came out and said, "Oh yeah, they're pretty much guaranteed to come back."
And here's the problem. And that's the and they said a couple weeks ago, he said a couple weeks ago, yeah, they're coming back. And listen, at this point, and I'm gonna open the floor to this in a second, they shouldn't be back. Sorry. At this point, and I said this yesterday on SIP, John, I'll get to you in a minute. I'll get to you in a second, John. But Dan, you were with me when I said this. Guys, the Dable honeymoon's over.
Not even about the honeymoon anymore. Like it
We're like a couple on the edge of divorce right now.
like it
Exactly.
at some point it becomes a a part of the fraction of the franchise. At some point this is no longer just a one-time issue. This is a recurring problem. And I hate to say it because I do really think Brian Dable's a good coach, but he's not as good as he made him out to be. And a lot of these hype men on these television shows that are on ESPN and Fox and all these
Mm-hmm.
podcasts, they hyped him to be like the next big thing because of what he did with Josh Allen. Well, Josh Allen statistically is having much better season without him and doing just fine. So I wonder how much is it with the fact that he had better quarterback with him than it is, turning around a sucky quarterback.
But anyway, that's the problem with this team is, like I said, a you got players who, again, they thought getting rid of Daniel Jones was going to be the problem. It wasn't. It was because look, DeVito, he got juiced. And yeah, there's talk that his forearm was hurting today, and Drew Lock had to take some snaps. So it's getting better at East Rutherford.
You know what the Giants should consider doing
What?
for the rest of the season? Dress a legend to play quarterback. So 1 week Phil Simms can play, 1 week Eli Manning can
In the
play.
building.
I'm down.
God damn it.
Let's keep it go. Kerry Collins comes back.
God.
But who did the
Bradshaw, bring Bradshaw back. Come on.
But anyway,
Maybe he can turn around the franchise. There we go. Oh, there he is.
Johnny, I see you, Johnny. I see you. But
Bill,
anyway,
to your
who did the Giants play in the last week of the season? Bring Eli Manning and Ahmad Bradshaw back for that game.
Eagles.
Ooh, this will be good.
Maybe
But anyway,
that game won't matter to the Eagles. They would have clinched a playoff
But
spot by that point.
you have a
Still
team
would
that
feel good
doesn't
to clip
you have
their
a
lead.
team that doesn't suck, and I said this yesterday on the podcast. You have a team that doesn't suck. You have a team that sucks. You have coaches who make excuses, and you have an ownership that just doesn't give a rat's you know what.
We've already played Rated R, Bill. Just say the whole phrase.
Okay, we have ownership who doesn't give a rat's ass. Like again, John Mora. John, are you responsible for the state of the team? Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, shut up, John.
But by the way, great surplus of a photo of the canned yams on the scoreboard on Sunday. We're getting our asses kicked, but everyone gets a free canned yam.
Yeah.
The free Pepsi. Remember that, Reg? The free Pepsi?
Yeah. Or even better, a free view of Baker Mayfield mocking the hell out of Tommy DeVito. Doing it poorly too.
Yeah. But anyway, if Dable and Shane get the boot, who's going to replace them?
What do you think, John? Who would be the right guy to replace at least one of them? Let's start with the coach because
let's just do the coach. I can't think of anyone for GM.
Yeah, GM is a tough one because I wonder if Shane wants to pivot into a different area.
And does Shane get that call though?
You know, I haven't really thought about it too much, but after looking into it a little bit, DeVito's 2022 coach, I think it was, Brett Bielema, I think would be the
old college coach, Brett Bielema,
because he's got 16 years experience and won more than 60% of his games. And like I said, he was DeVito's college coach in his senior year, 2022 in the Big Ten at Illinois. And DeVito, he wasn't half bad in college. He had over 40 games, a 63% completion, 6,500 yards, plus a 1.7% interception rate, fairly low, dare I say, and 163 yards per game played. And at Illinois, under Bielema, I probably butchered that last name, 69, almost 70% completion, 1.1% interception, 204 yards a game, 15 touchdowns.
But this is assuming DeVito stays.
But
what would he be? Would he be a bridge quarterback until you get to a better quarterback class? Assuming you're not going to pick a Sanders or a Ward or any of that. That's sort of my thinking because, if you do have to take a year where you will have to start someone like a DeVito or maybe a Drew Lock, or maybe you bring back Tyrod if he wants to come back. Um,
All solid choices.
I mean, if the commitment is to DeVito, which I don't think it is, that's one thing. But if it's not, then you have to find someone that is gonna develop a quarterback. A lot of these coaches, man, I've really struggled with the quarterback development. That's one thing I've noticed about these newer coaches. So you wonder, maybe you bring someone in that has experience.
Here's what I
Make
think.
the phone call. You know who I'm talking about. Make the
Is
phone
it a
call.
is it a certain gentleman who used to be in New England?
A certain gentleman that has so many TV jobs and podcasts that I think I'm running out of fingers.
Pat McAfee for Giants coach. Love to see it, Dan.
Right.
Fuck it. Fuck it.
But
You'll help that special
anyway,
teams for sure.
I think you know the coach that most Giant fans want right now.
But the question about him would be, how many years is he actually going to do it?
He's still young enough. Why not go till he's 80?
And you know, if John Mara called Bill Belichick up today, he'd say, "When do I start?"
Why
And
not?
and,
Why
and
wouldn't
he
he?
and he's the kind of guy who would have a same player personnel too. So
Well, here's the thing: if we're gonna go, I would go with Belichick. But if we're starting a new quarterback, I either go Belichick or I go Ben Johnson.
again, another guy who's going to want the job.
Because as much as I would like Belichick, I think at the end of the day, we need someone who has a future, not a past.
Mike Vrabel?
Mike Vrabel,
That's the guy I
I
would lean towards.
I'd be cool with him too. I'd be
That's
cool
the
with
only
Mike.
thing I could think of.
I mean,
I'd
this
be
team
cool with
needs
Vrabel.
a total culture shock.
Yeah, I mean, he's Belichick-esque. I mean,
Yeah, he comes from that tree.
like it's the
He
same. Yeah,
Yeah, I would
and
say if the commitment isn't to DeVito, it's either him or Belichick. And if it is to DeVito, even as a bridge,
I
you know,
don't think DeVito gets the commitment, because if DeVito had the commitment, they would have had this as a real competition with him and Daniel Jones during training camp, and it really wasn't a
and it really should have been.
competition.
It should
Yeah,
have been.
yeah.
oh, for sure.
So you go into next year, argument's sake, you hire Vrabel, well, I think would be a smart hire. You draft a quarterback and you sign a guy to sit in front. Or, hey, maybe you go get a young veteran who still hasn't had an opportunity. The guy who comes to mind, Justin Fields, who I still think the Giants should have thought about trading for when the Bears had him on the block and they only gave up a sixth round pick to the Steelers. You could do that. I know Tiki Barber brought this up on the WFAN last week. The Jaguars are going to hire their third coach in like 6 years. Maybe Trevor Lawrence is a guy who could hit the trade block.
Maybe.
If that intrigues you.
Lawrence.
I mean, I'm not sitting here saying he's definitively on the block. I don't know.
But
There's a lot of issues that this Giant team has to address.
They
oh,
have
man.
giant issues.
Yes, we do.
I hate
And
to
listen,
agree with you in such fashion, but
if
I
we kept
like
going
the
on other
analogy.
issues, this would be NC-17.
Oh
Um,
my God.
but anyway, who's the biggest disappointment? The Giants or the Cowboys?
I think the Cowboys, because we knew the Giants. So the
Yeah.
Cowboys always talk smack about how they have the best players, how they have the best stadium. Hey, look, we signed Dak to a record-breaking contract. Who he has not lived up to that contract. And
Looking at you, Mark Golovsky, Halpern.
yeah, and we have an owner that has a massive persona that does not give a you know what. So it's like, yeah, it's like, I would think the Cowboys.
It's the Cowboys because they drove the old ops guy to get another back surgery.
We wish
Yeah.
you well, old ops guy. We wish you the best.
Love you, buddy.
Yeah,
Also, they give Jerry
that sounds
Jones a
good.
platform, and I'm kind of sick of Jerry Jones having a platform.
Oh, I'm sick of Jerry Jones too.
The quarterback who they signed to a record contract and has not lived up to his head contract. He's also injured right now. And their guys are just dropping like flies left, right, center, up, down, forwards, backwards, sideways.
And the
Through the
injury,
Cowboys,
yeah.
they have been just up everyone's you know what's for God knows how long. And my God, they need to shut up.
It's all talk at this point. I mean, the another thing, who's the real leader in that locker room too? You know, we talk about the Giants have leadership issues. The Cowboys are just as bad.
Cowboys don't either.
Oh, for
Like,
sure, if not
it,
worse.
I mean, I would argue too. I mean, you know, to a point where you have one of your best defensive players calling out a reporter because he complained about how he potentially messed up on a defensive play, like lashing out at a reporter. Like, what kind of players, what kind of team would go after reporters like that? Like, no good team goes after like that. No good team has an owner go on the radio, literally criticizing the media and all its radio hosts for, beating up the Cowboys for how bad they are. So you wonder, there's a lot more issues than we think. And I mean, again,
And
they're just like the Giants. The Cowboys are very good because they're a legacy football team, because they are America's team, and they have the right people in place that they could just have this crisis management firm be like, hey, look, this is how you can spin it. This is how it's awful, man. It's awful.
so who's to blame for all this?
Jerry,
Jerry Jones.
Exactly.
it all falls on him. He needed to make a coaching change. He did not. He he needed to evaluate the roster because since he has all the tags on his shoulders, right? He's the president, he's the GM, he's the owner, he's everything. Judge, jury,
Executioner.
you know?
By the way, I'm going to say this now. I said this to the old ops guy last week. I cannot wait for next season with the Dallas Cowboys, where they literally go all in with Bill Belichick as their head coach and Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback.
I don't think
I
Bill
will
Belichick is going to replace Mike
I
McCarthy
will get
No, I'm having fun with it, Bill.
because
please.
you know, because Mike, Bill Belichick and Jerry Jones both have an ego the size of the state of Texas.
Oh, I know. I'm just having fun.
Nothing wrong with a little fantasy booking.
No, that would be
Hey,
hilarious.
I mean, Jake Paul has more wins at AT&T Stadium this year than the Cowboys.
Then Dallas, I know, right?
Bro, what do you do about Dak Prescott? He's interesting.
They shouldn't have signed him because Jerry clearly doesn't believe in him. I would personally, and I said this to Mark. I'm not smart enough to know the dead cap situation.
Yeah.
I would trade
A
him.
lot.
I know, but I would trade him for the 1 year of Rodgers, and I would draft a guy to sit behind Rodgers.
The Jets going after Dak Prescott. That's actually not the worst idea for my football team. For a team that's trying to retool.
Yo, Joe Douglas, sup? Call me.
Well, now Joe Douglas' name is Phil Savage. By the way, I am all in favor of the Jets keeping Phil Savage. With his Hall of Fame track record, please give me a break.
I'm more into the Macho Man Randy Savage. Ooh, yeah. Dig it.
And you want Mike Tannenbaum as your GM again, don't you?
Do I want?
You know what? They could have Mike Tannenbaum back as long as he's not on ESPN.
I mean, he's already in the building. You might as well. But, hey,
why not?
Like, come on. Like, all you got to do is just admit that you miss us. Since you took on the job to be the search firm.
And you know what? Call your buddy Rex Ryan while you're at it.
Yeah. Or your buddy Mangini.
Wow.
Mangini, all of a sudden, ever since the Tannenbaum news, Mangini started creeping into the conversation again.
Speaking of whole reunion, call Herman Edwards too.
Let's call him.
Oh,
Let's call
man.
everyone we know. So,
No. I'll raise you a Bill Parcells.
now
Come
things are
on,
getting interesting.
old fuck.
Okay.
Yeah, that one I don't see happening.
All right. So let's go on to All right. So we talked about the Scrap Fest. Let's talk about the only decent game that's gonna be on Thursday.
And I will say, gosh darn it, we squeezed a lot more content than I thought out of Giants Cowboys, and that was a shit game.
Yeah.
Something is wrong with us.
We're just passionate. Green Bay, Miami. I mean, Rifkin. Massive game all of a sudden for the
Yeah.
Dolphins.
Man, imagine if this stupid team didn't go 1-3 in the 4 games without Tua. They'd be,
How do you honestly feel about McDaniel after that stretch?
honestly, I don't blame Mike McDaniel for it. I blame the front office because you need competence at the backup quarterback.
Okay. Fair
Tyler
enough.
Huntley, Skylar Thompson, they're okay. They
Tim
don't
Boyle.
do anything.
Tim Boyle ran around for a couple of
Tim
seconds.
Boyle, who
How does that feel, Mike? How does it feel, Mike?
oh my, I'd rather pop the boil on my left ass cheek and watch Tim Boyle play football for sake.
Yeah.
Look, I also
Taste that
listen.
medicine.
This will never happen in a million years, but in those 4 games with the Dolphins going 1-3, that shows you how much Tua deserves to be in the MVP conversation because we don't talk about the V part of MVP. Valuable. He's accurate. He makes all of these receivers around him better. All of a sudden, Jalen Waddle's doing more. Tyreek Hill finally could score a touchdown not after week 1. They're running the ball better. And then this freaking defense is playing really well. So, Patchy, you may want to close both your eyes for this.
Oh,
Because the cheese is going to get rotten.
who moved his cheese, Rifkin?
Huh?
Who moved Patch's cheese?
I don't know. He'll never see it coming.
Anyway, I just want to, before I continue, I just want to say I hope my priest isn't watching this right now. I really hope he isn't.
Oh,
we're
We're going to send him an
after
exclusive.
this one.
We're going to send him an exclusive copy.
What was that, John?
We are going to have to go to confession after this one.
Oh, yes, we are.
You
Or
guys,
first,
can go to
we're friends
confession.
with Mike Rifkin. Okay, that's bad enough.
You know, the priests know me. They know about the 2032 campaign.
Okay, anyway, what about the Devon Akne Jonu Smith impact?
I'm
Listen, they finally have a third receiver that can play tight end. And it's beautiful.
John, what do you think?
honestly, I think the impact they've had is nuts. Any team that faces them, they don't want to get burned by Jalen Waddle, and they especially don't want to get burned by Tyreek Hill. So that opens the door for Akane and freaking Jonnu Smith, who's getting a lot of reliance from the Dolphins, which good for him. If he can swing it, which he's been doing, go for it.
Smith's a stud, by the way. Like I love the guy. No. It's interesting for the Dolphins, I'll tell you that much. They Yeah.
But anyway,
Trying to think, like what would be the best case scenario? Obviously winning, but like they need a lot more to happen this week besides winning their games.
oh, they absolutely need a lot more to happen.
Yeah.
But no, the Dolphins
That's
have
gonna be
been.
tough.
If they win and Denver loses, all of a sudden they're a half game out of a playoff spot.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
I,
true.
I wonder. I wonder. The weather's going to be a massive, massive problem for them because I'm seeing cold, possibly snow, maybe. I don't know, but
And
like,
they erase the narrative and actually win in a cold environment.
I think they can win this game. I really do. I think they could go out and win this game. This is not a knock on the Packers. Packers are really good. They're not world beaters, and I don't trust Jordan Love. Sorry, Black Eyed Peas. That's where the love is.
You do not trust Jordan Love.
I mean, for me, he turns the ball over too much still. That's kind of my biggest gripe about him, although I still have recollections on Sunday of Christian Watson being wide open for a touchdown and dropping the damn football.
how horrible was that?
Dude, the ball couldn't hit you in the hands any better.
It obviously had no impact on the game, but still.
But I'm just
And
People have fantasy owners, man.
oh yeah.
what, Dan, what do you think about it? Do you have faith in Jordan Love?
I mean, I do. I really think he's come into his own. I think he's gotten better since last year. He may not be the best quarterback in the league. I'm not ready to go that far, but he's certainly way more polished than I thought he would. And I also think that the teammates trust him a lot. That's and look, he's no stranger. He's been in the league what 5 years now, 6 years.
Give or take.
So it's like he now understands the workflow of the NFL. Teammates trust him. He's playing well. The LaFleur system clearly has been solid for them. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, I do trust him. I trust him. Um, and right now we're starting to get to a point with Love where we have to start not necessarily elevating him to bigger status because he's not quite there yet. But you know, the Packers are in a very good spot no matter what.
Their problem is the division with the Vikings and the Lions.
And that's a shame.
Both don't want to lose.
All of them are within some type of wild card race, which is just
Oh,
absurd. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
Like you were saying, Reg, Love has been absolutely miles ahead of where he was last season. He's been showing huge improvements since Rodgers left for the Jets. He has the trust of his teammates, which is vitally important.
yeah.
Because if your guys don't trust you, they're not going to protect you. And if you're not protected in a football game, you're going to get sacked. You're going to get intercepted. And you, my friend, are screwed.
Word.
So, yes, I trust Jordan Love. If I
I
was a Packers
trust
fan,
him.
I would trust him 100%.
I trust him too. But what about Josh Jacobs' impact on this offense?
Man, he's
You know what it is?
offensive stars. This guy is one of them.
Running backs over the past year have been so disrespected.
Oh,
Truth, though.
God.
It's the
What was
truth.
that, Reg?
It's the truth. I
Because
mean,
everybody,
mhm.
when Saquon went from the Giants to the Eagles, well, we won't miss him. Running backs are a dime a dozen. And look what he just did on Sunday night, which helped our fantasy team. So I thank you for that, Saquon.
Yeah.
4 points, and I was able to just beat my coworker,
shout out your coworker.
who, by the way,
You
is a
too.
Cowboys fan. So, Dan, I apologize. if you're watching this. But no, I don't. Let's go Giants. Anyway, back to Packers Dolphins.
Two, you had Derrick Henry go from the Titans to the Ravens. Oh, running backs are a dime a dozen. Look what happens. Josh Jacobs going from the Raiders to the Packers. Running backs are a dime a dozen. Look what happens. So you know what? I don't think this is
Trent.
just about Josh Jacobs. This is about running backs are disrespected.
Well, it really started with the Le'Veon Bell. Remember when Le'Veon Bell left the Steelers?
Mm-hmm.
And people were like, "Ah, well, they didn't need him anyway because we have James Conner, right?" Remember? Okay, well, how's James Conner doing right now? He's good. Don't get me wrong. He was not Le'Veon Bell. And that's the thing that I kind of worry about with the Jets. I'm sorry for pivoting to the Jets a little bit here. Brees
It's
Hall.
a therapy session for all.
This was exactly Brees Hall's second round pick. You know, I worry that he might go somewhere and then he's gonna ball out. You can't just find any running back. Yes, you can find some that are suitable, that could help run an offense, that can help move an offense. That yes, in a league where the quarterbacks and the receivers get the most credit on offense, yes, you can probably get away with a light running game. But explosive backs, man, we're seeing it right now. It's a
Mm-hmm.
renaissance, massive renaissance. So I don't know anymore. Like the conversation's kind of over when it comes to the the disrespect to the running backs. Saquon's proven it. Derrick Henry is 100% proven it. And yeah. So Josh Jacobs, man, cheers to you.
Here's to you,
Yes,
Glad,
Jake.
glad you're
sir.
And the
doing
other
well in Green Bay.
part for Josh Jacobs, it just shows how bad the Raiders have been.
Well, that's another thing. Maybe these running backs they're on teams that stink, and they they didn't they cash in somewhere else that's better.
And you wind up with nothing.
Nada.
In the words of the late Gene Wilder, you get
Get
nothing.
nothing.
You
You
lose.
lose.
Good
Good
day, sir.
day, sir. But anyway,
I said good day.
what about this improved defense?
Man, Jeff Hatley's done a really good job with this defense, the former
Oh, yes.
BC Eagle head coach. And by the way, another giant legend, Xavier McKinney,
Mhm.
7 picks. Rashawn Gary's coming into his own. This is a good team. They've got everything you want. Now their corners at times can be a little suspect, but man, they could get to the quarterback.
Okay, so
Through you there. Like just stop after pick after pick. The Packers defense is just in its own class right now.
I've always said I think the Packers are a very underrated team.
You would be absolutely correct. I am 100% behind you on that.
Okay, since we didn't do this by game, what are your predictions for Thursday for all three?
I'll say prediction wise. Well, I still have the Lions blowing out the Bears by a lot.
Next,
Yeah, the Lions will beat the Bears.
Yeah, the Lions are winning by at least 2 touchdowns, and that's if they have a bad day.
They may win by 100 points. Who knows?
I mean, considering they at one point earlier this season, 150 something to 6. I wouldn't put it past Dan Campbell to run up the score. And God bless him.
And he's already have though, so it's like it's within his identity. You're not going to change that.
I'm going with the lines as well for game one. Okay, what about the shit show of the week?
I want to say, like, the Cowboys are probably going to win, but I want, as a Giants fan, to say Giants by 1 point.
I'm going to say the Giants by 3 points. And, like, listen, guys, they can win this game and then just lose all the rest of the year.
I'd be fine with that. Like,
I'd be totally fine with that.
just so that I can rub something in Dan's face when we get back to work on Monday.
Dan, what are you picking, buddy?
I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. Like, I just don't. I have a lot of trust issues with New York right now, both ends of the spectrum.
No, that's fair.
So I have a lot of trust issues. Coaching, players, leadership. It's a mess. Give me the Cowboys.
Mike.
Funniest outcome would be a tie.
That
being
That'd
s-
be hilarious.
That being said, I'm going to take the Cowboys.
And that would definitely happen.
Oh my!
In this
If there was
and
any
Olaf's
game,
What an
guy and I would
embarrassment.
Olaf's guy and I would just be texting each other like, "What the just happened?" You know what? No, we're in R-rated territory. What the fuck just happened?
Oh my God!
There would be just F-bombs galore from all of us and old ops guy. I
Yes.
swear to God.
Whilst I sit there and drink my
My
Bailey's
coworker,
Irish
he's probably
cream.
in person. Like, he'd probably be texting me saying the same thing, Bill. What the fuck?
Happy Thanksgiving.
by the way, this isn't required, but it should be. The Cowboys should have to be playing the Commanders on Thanksgiving, just based on the franchise history.
I was thinking about the American Dad episode when Stan goes to see them to play the then Redskins, and then Klaus is like, "Wait, they were playing in Washington? Don't the Cowboys always play in Dallas on Thanksgiving?"
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I'm picking the Giants. Mike, you're going for a tie, I take it.
I'm going to take the Cowboys, but a tie would be hilarious.
And
Would be a game that would happen.
God bless America.
What about a scoreless game? Completely scoreless. They don't do anything.
I don't know if I'd be laughing or crying. Don't give the NFL scriptwriters ideas, Reg.
Actually, you know what? One team might get shut out.
It's very possible too. I mean, crazy. Oh my God!
Cowboys won this game 3-0 on a Brandon Aubrey 60-yard field goal.
Okay.
There has not been.
It can't just be any 60-yard. What's up, John? Sorry
about that. There has not been a single damn tie this season. If the Giants and Cowboys manage to pull it off, you can say goodbye to my beer.
You could say goodbye to my hallucinogens.
Yeah. What about like it can't just be a tie. It has to be a field goal to tie, but it has to be like a double doink and
Why not go triple doink, like boing, 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 and then right back out, just like by an inch.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You know what? The Giants go for the game-winning field goal. Luka Doncic runs onto the field and just steals the ball.
I'll do you one better. A cat runs onto the field before the game-winning field goal attempt, goes end zone to end zone.
Yeah.
And then whoever's due to kick the game-winning field goal misses. And as a result, the game is tied.
Oh my God.
Is your cat going to be the one running on the field, John?
That would be hilarious, but I am nowhere near Dallas.
It needs to go to the sideline of the team that's about to kick the damn field goal. That's what it needs to do.
Okay. And finally, Packers Dolphins. Mike, what's your pick?
On the road, the Dolphins erase the narrative. I'm going to take the Fins.
Reggie,
I'm all over the Packers.
Johnny.
I say with the short week and the cold environment, the Dolphins are going to be like fish out of water. Give me the cheeseheads.
I'm going with the Packers as
I see what
well.
you did there. I see what you did there.
Okay, well, that's
Packers.
our football talk for this week. Um, you know
Yeah.
what? Fun, quick question. What's everyone's favorite Thanksgiving side dish or dessert? Or both?
I'm gonna go dessert first. Pumpkin pie.
Okay.
And then the side dish, stuffing by far. But it has to be like really good stuffing. And maybe some mac and cheese as well. Maybe some mac and cheese.
Johnny.
Um, as far as sides go, I'm a little biased towards the sausage topped green bean casserole that I have been making for my family the past few years.
Okay.
As far as desserts go, I would say a sweet potato tart
Ooh.
Okay.
or sweet potato anything really.
Mike.
All right. As a side, I'm going to go mac and cheese. I would have went with my uncle's chili, but we're not having it this year. So, but that's usually really good as a dessert. Listen, it's not Thanksgiving really, but my mother's chocolate cake. Oh,
Okay.
oh, so good.
Don't get me started on chocolate cakes, dude.
Oh, let me tell you
Mike.
something. Let me talk to you about chocolate cake. Oh, so damn good.
Okay. Here's mine. I love mashed potatoes.
Solid second choice for me.
And another side dish that my family does, we have this thing called a Irish dream salad, or as we affectionately call it, the green mold, which is a green gelatin with cream cheese, cherry, walnuts, and pineapple. And it's a family staple. My grandmother made it every year, God rest her soul. And my mom makes it now. And for dessert, I gotta go apple pie. Like I know that sounds very standard, but that's that very classic Thanksgiving dish.
Yeah, I would say these are all solid choices from everyone. And like I was thinking of earlier, mashed potatoes, my family has been doing that for ages and always delicious. But I feel like mashed potatoes are a non-exclusive Thanksgiving side. So I wanted to pick something that I have been doing like specifically for Thanksgiving. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my mashed potatoes, but those are more a year-round thing in my opinion.
And yeah. So, and also, I just want to give a quick PSA before we go to everyone watching. First two PSAs. First of all, be a friend this holiday season. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
Yes.
Get an Uber or stay at a friend's house.
I am
And
with
second,
you there.
Or moonwalk.
and second of all, regarding recent events, if y'all know what I'm talking about, I have been seeing things on social media. People are uninvited friends and family to Thanksgiving. Guys, don't do that. Don't cut off your friends because of their political views.
Oh,
Please just don't disinvite people because of their views.
this is why I didn't invite Bill to my Thanksgiving.
Oh, come on. Like you were going to invite me anyway, Mike.
You disagree with the 2032 run.
I said we'll talk about it. I just want position of chief of staff in the White House.
Hey, listen, like I get why people are doing it. Personally, unless it's an extreme disagreement, I don't think I could bring myself to do it.
Agreed. But please, guys, it's the holidays. Let's
Enjoy the football. Let's go.
Enjoy
Let's
the
leave
football,
our political.
enjoy the food, leave our differences at the door.
Absolutely. This is supposed to be beginning of the season of joy. the season of peace on earth and goodwill towards man.
It's a time
And
for giving.
the
Gift.
time for giving. Let's not hate each other. Let's not hate each other.
Amen, dude.
So, yeah. So, from all of us here at Sports Insanity Network, we wish you a blessed, happy, and safe Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we love
Amen
you.
to
We
that.
appreciate you. If you
And we're
like,
thankful for you guys.
we're very thankful for you, and we appreciate you if a little more if you can just hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell. It's on the bottom.
Ding.
All right.
Okay, guys. So, follow us on social media. Go to our website, www.sportsinsanitynetwork.com. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell. Thank you all. And I'd like to thank these gentlemen for joining me this evening. So, from all of us here, stay safe. Take care.